Sweet Baby Inc. exposed as massive Canadian government-created propaganda organisation. I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised. Smash, tell us the words.
Sweet Baby Inc. does exactly what many people suspected.
Okay.
And now we have
A good old DEI peddler. Oh.
some definitive
Good luck to 'em.
evidence proving that they are a state-funded organization
That's
backed
a
by
shame.
Canadian governments, all brought to us by Master of the TDS and his wife, Writing Raven.
Damn,
and an
they done it
incredible
again.
report from their YouTube channel, Gothic Therapy.
They
They
done
have
it.
just dropped an absolute bombshell report.
They done it. They've been doing it. They've been hell-bent on catching his DEI woke. And now we're starting to realise government-backed organisations pumping this agenda into kids and into the gaming industry. Okay.
Exposing Sweet Baby Inc. as a massive
As I say, man, whatever's in the dark shall always come to light.
Canadian government-created propaganda organization. And man, that's a mouthful. And wow, is anyone really surprised that behind the scenes, this little humble company that's supposed to just be narrative design and injecting some assistance and consultancy in the game industry, really at the end of the day, got set up by the Canadian government. What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Smash JT. I saw
Okay, I like the little Mario cards there on the back. I like that. Okay, what are they?
this video recently from Master of the TDS, so massive shout out to him and his wife, Writing Raven, on their channel, Gothic Therapy, discussing a bombshell report of the consultancy agency, Sweet Baby Inc., and how their origin story of them just working behind the scenes to inject a little bit of assistance with writing stories, really at the end of the day, is complete BS.
They're agenda-fueled bastards.
This was a government op from day one.
We sort of
and
saw
they
that.
got the receipts to prove it. Hit that subscribe, give me a like, and check out
Lucky.
SmashJT.com for the full article breaking down Gothic Therapy's massive expose on Sweet Baby Inc. And I know we've talked about them a lot before on this channel, but this one might be the biggest one yet.
Sweet Baby Inc.
Hopefully it collapses and then just ends. And don't rebrand into another brand and infiltrate the industry again. No, we don't need that. Be gone, you scourge.
calls itself a narrative development studio, one
Okay.
that helps marginalized voices tell their stories in games.
Okay, seems like a noble quest.
But in reality, it's a smokescreen.
Yeah, we knew that.
Not just for what they do, but for how they began.
What all started out as this
how they
humble
began.
so-called narrative development studio aimed at supposedly elevating marginalized voices, read, forcibly inject DEI into the video game industry, might have actually been something far more sinister all along.
That's
According
sinister.
to Gothic Therapy's latest investigation,
Yeah.
Sweet Baby Inc.'s founding story isn't just misleading, but it may actually be a complete fabrication entirely.
Goddamn.
The video titled The End of the Sweet Baby Lie, hidden founder and built by the government, uncovers far more than what anyone could have ever imagined. In what looks to be a government-backed
They wouldn't like this info getting out, I guess. Why not put it on your front page?
organization
If you're ashamed of it. If you're not ashamed of it, I mean, why not put it on your front page? Why is it hidden? We had to search.
that tries to position
Suspicious.
themselves as some small boutique studio humbly in Montreal, Canada that's just trying to, do their thing and work in the game industry. And don't look any
Yeah.
deeper into all our information because
Suspicious.
this figurehead of Kim Blair
That's
is
suspicious.
this marginalized CEO on the surface really is just a figurehead that got put in place because behind the scenes, this is something far worse.
Whoa, you want to come and destroy the gaming industry, do ya? Nah, not gonna happen, love. Sorry, jog on.
It's all
You and your government cronies.
a lie. Not just the mission statement, not just the smiling
All of
PR,
his bullshit.
the whole thing. From the first sentence of their mission statement to the founder they tried to scrub from history.
Everything you've been told about Sweet Baby Inc. was constructed deliberately. And tonight, we're tearing that construction down.
While their initial
Shout out Gothic Therapy.
story stars David Bedard, Kim Belair, and Adrian McGill
The usual
coming together
suspects.
to found Sweet Baby Inc. in 2018, Gothic Therapy found official filings that tell an extremely different story.
And the man behind both vanished. No interviews, no credits, not a single
Wonder why?
mention on SBI's website.
I
And for
wonder
someone
why.
listed as a
Who is that person?
vice president, director, and shareholder on day one, that's not silence.
That's erasure.
A mysterious
Yes.
man by the name of Terrence Jason Huberts
Terrence Jason Hubert. Who is this man?
was actually listed as vice president, director, and shareholder from the very
Mr.
beginning.
Huberts?
And of course, oddly, he was erased from the records nearly 1 year later with absolutely no explanation.
In October 2009,
He said, "Get me out of here. Don't want to be part of this stuff here." Too late, mate. We found the fucking receipts now, guys. Who are ya?
over a year after incorporation, Sweet
Yeah.
Baby submitted a correction to their corporate filings, one that removed Terrence Jason Huberts entirely and reassigned his shares to Kim Belair retroactively.
And I haven't been able to find anybody
Okay.
that's heard anything about this guy.
No one heard about
previously.
this.
That's not a correction.
Who is he?
That is a cover-up.
Yep.
They didn't just update the paperwork, they rewrote the past. So anyone checking later would only see the version they wanted remembered.
And Sweet Baby Inc. on the
Sad.
surface clearly wants people not to know anything about this guy, so they cover everything up, put Kim Belair's name instead of his, and then erase the history that used to be there.
And the only thing left? A footnote saying he was there for a single day.
The cover up going on
Huh? There for a single day? What is this? This is dodgy. Come on, guys.
here is pretty clear. Sweet Baby Inc.
What are they
filings were
doing?
retroactively changed to assign all of Hubert's shares to Kim Belair, painting her as somehow the sole founder in the media narratives. But if you think that's crazy, it gets even
That's a bit
crazier,
suspicious.
Because digging even deeper into the receipts that Gothic Therapy found, they traced this Terrence Jason Huberts back to Terry Huberts, a former British
Okay.
Columbia legislator and government official
Okay, then.
who served in the late 80s and early 90s. In the archive
What's he doing there? Busy with Sweet Baby Inc. What's he doing busy in gaming narratives? Huh?
interviews, he mentions how he had a son
Old boy.
named Jason. And everything they talk about adds up to something pretty peculiar.
What's
the
that?
same very rare name, the same name of a son, everything connecting the dots
Jason?
to the point of Gothic Therapy stating,
We ran the numbers, factoring in the name rarity, generational name,
God damn, these lot are way better than real journalists. These are the real journalists, in fact. Look at the due diligence that they've done.
naming, and
The news tells you, shut up and go home. We know what's best for you. Shut up and go home.
the sweet match.
Ridiculous.
The odds of this being a coincidence are 1 in 100 million.
Woo!
Now, we're not saying it's definitely the same
Who is this demon upon them, their left? Who is this? Does anyone know who this is?
man.
But if it's not, then somehow Canada has 2 people named Terrence Jason Huberts.
That's really
One
strange.
a corporate ghost, and one a retired politician who publicly mentioned having a son named Jason.
but it goes even deeper than this. Terry Huberts once authored a government framework
Well, so what is he saying? That was his son that continued it, yeah? It's not this Terry, but it's the next one, his son. Okay.
embed private contractors into public systems.
The same Terry Huberts who once designed frameworks for embedding private contractors into public systems.
The names match, the dates match, the
Ah.
suite numbers match, and the math does not lie.
And to top
Damn.
all this off, Gothic Therapy also discovered that the company had registered an alternate corporate name, Design Sweet Baby,
Design Sweet Baby.
filed on the same exact day as Sweet Baby Inc. But why would you create a lifeboat? Was this supposedly a backup plan in case the first one fell through and
Yeah, what's this about?
didn't work out? I mean, I can't think of another
Suspicious,
reason why
I'll
you do
tell
that.
you that
Hey,
for free.
I guess at this point we can just make some guesses.
Before we go, there is one last thing that you should see.
Okay.
Because Sweet Baby Inc., it doesn't just have one name.
We found an alias. Design Sweet Baby, filed on the same day.
On the
quiet,
same day.
Unlisted, and never explained.
What's Sweet Baby Design?
Why register a second name
Design company?
unless you're planning for a lifeboat?
Filed
Yeah.
in advance, in case the first identity couldn't stay afloat.
But if that was the plan,
True.
it failed. Because now we see it.
This
We
revelation
know.
here challenges everything we've been told about how Sweet Baby Inc.
I've got a bit of a cough going on there, boys. Fucking hell.
came to be. And why shouldn't it? It's not like anyone should believe a damn thing this company spews. The curated image of a small, progressive, grassroots team fighting for diversity
It's all a lie.
in games looks more and more like
It's
in
all
the
a
end,
lie.
It was just this well-funded facade, backed
Yeah.
by state-funded resources
Suspicious, man, I tell ya.
and stealth influences to push a government agenda and propaganda of diversity using video games as the avenue to pursue it.
That's how we suspected it, man. We suspected that. And we can look across the whole entertainment sector and say the same thing. It's been infiltrated.
Pair this all with how journalists have handled Sweet Baby Inc. and coddled them and tried to make sure that they've been enabled and protected the entire time
Yeah.
that they have existed.
True.
It's got to make you wonder
True.
what's going on behind the scenes.
Right.
One particular
And that's where we come to that conclusion is like, how are these cunts doing this stuff, getting away with it and, you know, doing this outrageous dumb stuff and getting away? And here's your answer. They're government backed. Fuck.
journalist that stands out in all of this is Alyssa Mercante.
Oh, Elizabeth Kante.
Day, someone who used to write for Kotaku and had an article titled
Got fired.
Sweet Baby Inc. doesn't do what you think they do.
Suspicious.
And it is a full hit piece on gamers, fully defending Sweet Baby Inc. the
Yeah.
entire time.
Obviously.
And when I dared question that article,
And there was loads of other journalists, loads of other cretin journalists that are part of these cretin companies like Kotaku and IGN that were all defending this sort of behavior. Why? When they're making terrible games.
she lost her mind.
They make bad
And
games.
That has now progressed to I am being sued by her. And
Yeah.
I can't help but think that kind of struck a nerve. Almost like these
100%.
people have a lot to hide. And they
100%.
don't like people looking into them.
Yeah.
Why would that be? This isn't even a conspiracy anymore. We now have the fact-based
Why would
receipts
that be
thanks to Gothic
indeed?
Therapy, putting it all out there. With the evidence-backed, document-supported investigation done magnificently. And it all begs the question, how many more studios or consultancy agencies are out there secretly being propped up to push political or ideological agendas under the guise of storytelling and
100%, I'll say across the board of the entertainment sector, 100%, and other sectors as well, pushing their agenda.
narrative
100%.
design in video games, when in reality, no.
Everything seems to be around that gay, sort of trans, man is weak. Everything's weird.
It's not that at all.
really weird.
They want to use video games as the avenue to push their screwed up agenda, which
Yeah.
is exactly why gamers have pushed back so hard against them since day one. I also find it interesting how Sweet Baby Inc. uses this whole, gamers are conducting a harassment campaign against us as a shield from criticism
Jokers.
and any kind of investigation
Yeah.
as to what they're actually doing.
Yeah, you criticize or you look at them in any sort of way to go, oh, look, it's the Gamergate guys. They're trying to destroy, look, they hate. No, you're doing something suspicious, so let us have a look.
Which is what the gamers have been looking into, and they keep calling that harassment.
Yeah,
And it's not.
that's ridiculous.
Which ironically is the same thing that Alyssa Mercante keeps saying against everyone else that says anything about her.
Yeah,
when
it's
she
harassment.
spews lies about
Yeah.
gamers, the game industry,
So that's their playbook. They've been taught that way, right?
or the game that she's covering, and people try to call it
That's
out.
what their masters told them to say once they're caught is like, you're harassing me.
She says it's harassment.
Hmm.
It's not. It's kind of curious how both these entities continue to use that shield of harassment to
Yeah.
try to evade any kind of
They've been
criticism.
taught that.
And none of this even touches on the fact that one of the former
Chris, he got sacked, innit?
employees of Sweet Baby Inc. that's no longer there, Chris Kindred, called my old job trying to get me fired, calling me a racist.
Yeah, can you believe that? This is the sort of people that you're dealing with in that sort of industry. They're like so entitled that they try and ruin your life when you expose them. They will actually try to ruin your life, calling up your work, saying that you're racist and all of that. Look at that. This is how they act. But they lose in the end. Losers lose.
all these other horrible things on a message they left, which was unhinged as hell.
Yeah.
An employee of Sweet Baby Inc. got so mad at a YouTuber that they looked into where they worked, tried to find
Yeah,
out,
how
and
nefarious
tried
is
to
that?
get them fired from their job.
Yeah, how nefarious is that fucking shit? That you're so affected by what a YouTuber is saying that you've gone out your way to find out where they work. That's nefarious as fuck. You should be jailed for that, you fucking criminal.
Now again, Chris Kindred no longer works at Sweet Baby Inc. after
Thank
that
God.
phone call took place.
Now we just need the whole company to go into liquidation, you know. But these sort of companies are very fucking parasitic. It could like morph into something else and just continue its bullshit, but just under a different guise, you know.
And I'd like to think Sweet Baby Inc. learns
Everything is barge pole and fucking binoculars, boys. Can't trust nothing.
something from that entire situation. But ultimately, the more I find out about this company, the more it seems like they lash out at anyone that tries to do any kind of digging, which makes me feel like they definitely have something to hide, because this is not a normal way for anyone to be reacting
Yeah.
about anything.
Fucking
Again,
yeah, you gotta
huge
chill
shout
out.
to Gothic Therapy for bringing this to everyone's attention.
Right.
Because holy crap, even though a lot of us probably assumed that there was something to do with the government backing them the
Yeah.
entire time, there was never any kind of evidence or proof of it until this
happy
damning
to see this
report
now.
came out with the information they provided. And I got a feeling there's going to be a lot more that comes out of this now
Yeah.
that this has been discovered. Almost feels like the tip of the iceberg. In a
Yeah,
way.
100%.
And I'm sure
But it's like, as well, we can't be like hoping that Sweet Baby Inc. will come out and clear this up. Nah, Sweet Baby Inc. are known to run and hide into the crevices and cracks that they come from. So, you know, you can't expect honor from these sort of people. Hell no.
Sweet Baby Inc. isn't too happy that this
But it's cool though. Whatever's in the dark will expose it into the light, and that's fine, isn't it? That's cool.
got out there. Anyways, I'm going to leave it there. If you guys want more information, check out smashjt.com for the full article, resources, links, and Gothic Therapy's video. I will link this in the description below. If you guys appreciate what I'm doing, hit that join button. Thank you so much for watching. And as
Legend.
always, you stay smashed.
Another great
And the
one.
baby.
Great
The
information.
baby is dead. So if you were counting on Design Sweet Baby to be your clean
The
slate,
baby is
too late.
dead.
You can run, little baby, but we will always find you.
That's sick. Sweet Baby Inc. Gothic Therapy. Brilliant work. Real journalism there. Something to be proud of. Look, bringing us the information. The information that would otherwise be buried under the layers of bullshit bureaucracy, I guess, or bullshit woke agendas. Yeah, I subscribe to none of their bullshittery, me. You see me, yeah? See me. I subscribe to none of their fucking bullshittery. But give me a second, because I need to pee.